Hello everyone, my name is Soren McKay, I am His Majesty's Prime Minister.
Oh, and you also need to use parliamentary language whenever possible. So you are His Majesty's opposition. That is the honourable gentleman and the honourable lady.
Okay, what about us?
You are the honourable
My name is Abigail
opposition
Aston.
and the honourable gentleman and the honourable gentleman.
Hello, I'm His gloriously terrible Majesty's leader of the opposition that hates His Majesty.
He opposes His Majesty. We'll bring in treason later on.
Good evening! I'm here against my own will. Please call my mom. I'm scared. Thank you.
I don't know how long this speech will be. 4 minutes. Whenever we're ready, I am ready, so I will begin. We all here hold the proposition that that in this round we should be debating whatever brings about emotional reaction. There are two other parties who also do this. Theodore Kids and the Theodore Kids of Stoa, namely TPers. When you hear TPers making certain sense, does this sound familiar to you? Without POHs, America is doomed. Without niobium from Brazil, how will we subsist? Number one argument of this round, TPers are melodramatic, but they not only manifest this quality on the floor of the debate, but also on the floor after the debate when they are crying about the results of the debate. Argument number two, self-involved. Self-involved. We have this idea that TPers spend all their time researching policies. They spend all their time locked in closets, just as some other people are locked in closets. They spend their time walking on themselves. They do not consider others.
This is the honourable gentleman.
Out of TPers or Stoa debaters or public in general, how do they perceive theater kids? And if we don't understand that, how can we understand that they're equivocal to TPers?
Let's take the point so far. Are theater kids melodramatic? I do not believe there is a question. Are theater kids self-involved? I do not believe there is a question. They most certainly are so. That is why they go into theater or TP. Argument number three, unskilled. Unscaled. We are looking at the dregs of society in either case. When you have theater kids, are they skilled at their profession? No, that's why they go into theater and don't spend their time on a skilled profession. Yes, sir!
You're saying that they're unskilled in dregs of society. Have you seen yourself?
I have! Moving on! Argument number four, unsocial. Argument number four, they are unsocial. This goes back to locking themselves in closets.
What's the resolution?
I don't remember. TPers are the theater kids of Stoa. This may be becoming more clear. I blame the speaker who did not tell you the resolution beforehand. For speaker.
I love AJ.
Unskilled labor. We already addressed this. Number four, unsocial. This is incredibly important. Why do kids go into theater? Because they cannot get social interaction in other ways. Why do kids go into TP? Because they want to isolate themselves from society. Argument number five, they pretend to walk. They pretend to walk. What are people doing in theater? They are literally pretending to be other things than they are. Sit down. What are people doing in TP? They are literally pretending to be doing something when they are doing nothing. Argument number six, other words. Other words. Every theater production is a quotation of other words. Every TP production, no it's not, is a quotation of other people's words just from more sources. Either way, they don't come up with original content. Argument number seven, big plans. Big plans. Theater kids have big plans and they end up sharing rooms with 8 different people and working as a waiter. TPers have big plans which never pass through Congress. Argument number 8, final argument, is crying and reviewing scripts. crying and doing the viewing script. This is what they do after their performances in theatre. This is what they do after their rounds in TP. They hide in corners. They go back to the closets where they belong, and they cry to themselves about losing either the round or their social esteem and respect. Thank you so much.
This house represents the honorable gentleman from the opposition. Don't be afraid to branch out.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, cousins and uncles and whatever relations you could possibly think of. Hello. I would like to oppose the motion that TPers are not the theatre kids of Stoa. That's actually what I'm going to be advocating for within today's debate. Well, I misphrased it. Ignore that. You're a jerk or something like that. So let's get into one burden. Quiet. Let's get into one burden before we get into my own case. And my own case is going to be outweighing all the points in their case. So
No, it isn't.
Get in. No, well, you can deny that in your next speech. That one burden you can write down is prove no better alternative. That's prove no better alternative. They have to prove that TPers are the best equivocation to theatre kids. They have to prove that TPers are the best within the Stoa community. So let's get into some specific arguments. I'm only going to have two, unlike Soren, who is a spreader, such a jerk. But I'll take your question.
Is it possible that just as theatre kids have many roles and can be equated and compared to many different things, the TPers have many of those same roles and can be compared to the same things, and therefore have the same status, even though they are both fundamentally more close to humans than they are to theatre kids or TPers?
If I agree to that, I would be disagreeing with the resolution, and I don't agree with that. So let's get into two arguments. My first argument is that TPers are a bad connection. That's TPers are a bad connection. TPers are not. No, sorry, stop it. This is not your speaking time. TPers do not connect to theatre kids at all in any way. Yes, TPers are obsessed about what they do, but that doesn't mean that they fit best with theatre kids. That is a faulty equivocation that Soren made. Yes.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No, I don't, but I'm not a TPer. I'll actually be getting into why LDers are better. Thank you, I feel that. Let's get in. So the thing is TPers are not the best solution, and there are other solutions. Because TPers are more like the math team kids. They're the kids who study the like weird statistic that nobody cares about. They don't care at all. I don't care what you say. I'm going to continue talking because this is my time. Let's get into my second point, which you can write down as interpers better connection. That's interpers better connection. I am an interper. I know. I'm speaking in a British accent to you. That is very much like a theatre kid. I speak in accents all the time. So the thing is, it's interpers who are most like the theatre kids. Why? Because they're always talking to themselves. They're always talking to walls. They're always muttering to themselves. They're always poring over their scripts. So this point is that interpers are a lot more like theatre kids, and also LDers, because us LDers, we like to discuss philosophy and things like that. So it's interpers who are the theatre kids of Stoa, it's LDs who are the theatre kids of Stoas. All those are antisocial. Thank you, I oppose His Majesty the King.
Treason! Treason, my lords!
Here.
I have no semblance of a timer, so someone's gonna need to time me or I will not stop talking. Fantastic, it's already going. To quote a wise man named Caleb McGarry, TPers are the most annoying kids you will ever meet. Now, to have a coincidence unparalleled quote from Reddit, "Thespians are the most annoying kids you will ever meet. It is because I believe that both TPers and thespians need skills, better dreams, a life, and a girlfriend that I agree with the resolution. TPers are the theater kids of STOA." I will get into and not address most of my opponent's arguments, but I will address the few of them that are most entertaining to address. And then I will prove them wrong in other invalid ways. I will continue after a word from our sponsor.
Okay, we can agree that just because there are some similarities, that doesn't prove the resolution.
We cannot agree that that is the case. We cannot, my good sir. To continue into our case, our ninth contention you can tag as single. I guess that's single. My opponents, neither of them have girlfriends. What's something interesting? Yes, actually I do. What? What's something interesting about theater kids? They don't have girlfriends. If theater kids have any significant others at all, you can tag my 10th contention as homosexuals. Again, that's homosexuals. Something important to notice in between the similarities of TPers and theater kids, there are a lot of suspicious activities going on behind closed doors. Now, to get into some responses. They gave us this burden that we must prove that there is no better alternative. We don't need to prove that no one else is a theater kid of STOA. We merely have to prove that TPers are. Next, in response to their first contention of TPers are a bad connection, and they said specifically TPers are not the solution, you can tag my response as TPers are the problem. Again, that's TPers are the problem. I'm sure we can all agree that there are many problems in STOA, and TPers participate in nearly every single one of them. Next, they talked about how interpers make a better connection. I will continue after your last point.
Is it, before I get to the point, is it okay if I ask a follow-up?
No, you get one question.
Dang it!
That was it. They talked about how interpers are the ones walking around talking to themselves. You can tag my response as non-unique. All of us are crazy. We all talk to ourselves in all hallways. Next, they talked about how interpers are cool. Now, as an interper, I completely agree. You know who isn't cool? Theater kids. You know who else isn't cool? TPers. What we can see here, judges, is that there is a massive list of similarities that my opponents cannot refute because it is in fact there. Whether or not there are other individuals that could also be declared the theater kids of STOA, we can see that in fact TPers, they are extremely annoying. Definitionally an aspect of theater kids. They are single, they are melodramatic, they are unskilled, they spend all of their time quoting other people's words. They pretend to do their work. They have big plans that will never come to fruition. They are crying in the hallways reading their scripts, and all of them are gay. Thank you.
For 4 minutes. Are
we
you
have
all
the
ready?
They're 2 minutes apiece.
Okay, cool beans.
I have the mic. The problem is they have not defined what a theater kid is. The way they define that is look at the populace. What has been the biggest argument and the biggest anger within the populace of this week? Probably the STOA board choosing literary interpretation instead of humorous and dramatic. Why do we decide that? We decide that because the populace agrees out of a democracy, not the people on top. So what does the democracy say? I went around during prep time asking STOA kids what they thought were defined theater kids. I interviewed a total of 2 people. One person said that they're weird and they're feeders of theater. I don't really know what that means, but I'll take it. The second one said that they're gay, which, all right, I'm gonna prove to you that under that demographic, it does define that. She talked about how TPers are the problem.
Are you ready to answer the question yet?
Before I get into that, I'll take your question.
Do we need to go through a specific process to define theater kids as kids who do theater?
The only thing that you've had is single people and people that are at the bottom of the earth and do weird things. Do you see what we're doing right now? We are standing in front of a populace of people doing a fake parliamentary round in public, and the majority of us are LDers. The TPers are the problem. My response is it doesn't compare. that doesn't compare it to what the other problems and the demographics that do compare to theater kids, like interpers. The purpose of interpers is they usually do compare back to theater kids because they are theater kids. One of their biggest arguments was people having better futures. Where do theater kids go? They go off into plays, they go off into Broadway, they become actors. Where do LDers go?
They work at bookstores.
So you are essentially contending that interpers are theater kids, not the theater kids of Stoa, just theater kids in general.
If they're theater kids in general, then they're the theater kids in Stoa because they also are in Stoa. They also were talking about how it's non-unique. The only demographic they gave was basically either homosexual and gay. And to the answer to our question of do you have a girlfriend, her answer was yes, which gives two things. One, she either meant boyfriend, but two, we wouldn't be surprised if it was girlfriend. That means the only demographic that we chose compares to the government side, meaning it doesn't compare. Well, they're mostly LDers. Therefore, we see that it does apply to the opposition side. Thank you.
For shame!
I'm gonna be honest about this one. I ripped my pants. Sorry, y'all. So I have 2 minutes of speak time. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to again reiterate what I was saying in the beginning, and that's that TPers are not the theatre kids of Stoa. Again, because us interpers, us LDers, we do weird things and we do weird voices and we do all the weird theatre kid stuff. That's been undenied in today's debate round. Thank you. Goodbye.
Unlike the right honourable gentleman, I still have the ability to stand up if the time was running. So, we have three major arguments in this debate round. Number one, the only thing you have heard from the opposition team, practically, is the idea that interpers are more theatre-ish than TPers. Number one, interpers are actually doing something. TPers, like theatre kids, are just pretending to do something. But number two, even if interpers are theatre-ish, it has no bearing on whether or not TPers are theatre kids. Two different questions. This resolution is true regardless of the opposition case. Number two, what is the specific activity that theatre kids engage in? It is theatre, and we have drawn various parallels between theatre and TP, that you are just quoting other people, that you are not saying anything worthwhile, that you are making big plans which don't come to fruition, that you are pretending to be something, that you are being over melodramatic, so on and so forth. My opponents have not come a single one of these ties. Because they have not overcome a single one of these ties, we can see that the resolution is true. Finally, third point is personality traits. Do TPers and whatever the other ones are share similar personality traits? Yes, they do. What are those traits? Self-involvement, arrogance, antisociality, which is a new word that I just came up with, obsession with quoting others, drama when they lose, which is most of the time, and finally, the idea of their activities. This all having been said, what do we see? We see that in their very defining trait, that in their extrinsic personality traits, they are theatre kids, and that any opposition argument has not clashed with that position. For these reasons, TPers are the theatre kids of Stoa. I do not fear you. You cannot frighten me. Unlike the opposition, I do not fear those around me. Mr. Luce. You're beautiful. I do not fear you.
Quoting Caleb is very
Thank you all so much for coming. One final announcement. This debate round has been sponsored by Nile Debates. Mr. Mark Company. join that. And also Edge Debate. There's 2 sponsors. Wait, what do you specialize in?
LD coaching and free resources
okay, so
for everybody.
LDers are going to Edge. Mark, what do you specialize in?
Team policy.
Team policy. You're going to Niles.
If you're a theater kid, go to Mark here.
Theater kids to Mark. And everyone go get dinner. Have a good night. Thank you.
I vote government.
Oh wait. This is not a normal round. We have live RFDs. Oh. You get 5 words.
We should walk up to the front and announce.
I'm ready.
No, I unplugged it.
Stand up.
Wait, yeah, walk to the front and announce in the stands.
Yeah, and
No mic.
No mic.
Opposition team. No resolution in first speech.
shame. Alright, you can get more than 5 words. You can get more than 5 words.
I need more words, Brett.
Unlimited words. Unlimited words.
Unlimited words? Gov team, because they didn't prove, or they didn't explain why it's not, they just said interpreters are. And theater kids are still gay.
Opposition. Af was verbally rude to judges and does not know how to share what the debate is about, even in their first speech.
Government was verbally rude to judges, and that was our criteria of emotional impact, and opposition was too good.
What's up, guys? Coach Micah here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm deciding on the Parli Sub Finals round. I voted government because vote opposition if you are gay. So vote government. T-Peers are the theater kids of Stoa coming from an LDer. Catch my videos every evening. I will see you later.
And vote Caleb McGarry for #1 Parley Strikes Proctor for 9 Talk 2027.
So true. So true. And now a slow pan into the trees.